Check mic. Check mic. All right, good morning. Alright, so we are going to go where we left off last time. So we have here the floor plan already. Alright, so provided with the floor plan, we have already established the windows, we have already established the doors, we have already established the walls and the columns. The next part we are going to do in this part 2 is that we are going to start on providing fixtures and furnitures in your structure. Okay? Now, this is just a continuation from the last discussion that we had as of how we are going to make a floor plan. So, later on, maybe by 1 o'clock siguro, I am going to attend already questions with regards to the modules of the grade 12. Okay? Now, in this segment or in this session, we are just going to continue uh, finishing our floor plan. Okay? So, we have already the floor plan. What's missing is the next part we are going to do is we are going to add fixtures and furnitures. So, as of how we are going to add fixtures and furnitures, you may do manual drawing on your furnitures and fixtures. Okay? But there are actually ready-made furnitures and fixtures on the CAD library. You may also use that one. As of how we could access the library on the uh, furnitures and fixtures of the CAD is that you may command TP for the tool palette. For example, we are going to add a toilet. Make sure to it that you are on the architectural tab, because there are a lot of tabs here. Make sure that you're in the architectural tab and go on metric samples. Upon going on metric samples, you've got the toilet on metric. You click this one and then you've got a toilet bowl there. Okay? Now, click on the toilet bowl. You've got arrows here. This one right here symbolize another option if you are going to click this one. This one is for the flip. Okay. Now, click this one. You may choose, like, for example, mine is elongated plan. Right there. Okay. Then, I am going to position my toilet bowl. Right there. Okay. After positioning your toilet, You may also add a, what's called this? Wait, a lavatory. Right? Now, some of the furnitures can be, it may not be here at the tool palette, but it is in the other library. You go control 2. Okay? You go control 2 and you have here the options. Okay? Under this dialog box or under this window, okay, it is under program files, and then under program files you've got Autodesk, and then go on AutoCAD 2018. Okay, there is a plus icon there. If you are going to observe, there's a plus icon there. Alright, then look for the samples. You've got samples here, and then look for the Indus As, and then you've got the design center. The dynamic blocks is on the tool palette. This one right here is the dynamic blocks. Okay, on the design center you've got a lot of choices to choose from. You've got home space planner, you've got house designer. First we are going to go on the home space planner, for example. We're going to click on the blocks. Alright, so you've got a lot of ready-made furnitures here, so you could that you could choose from. And then for example, I'm going to go on the dining set. Example right here, I'm going to double click this dining set. Alright, and then click OK, and then I'm going to insert here. And then for example, I also wanted to insert this bed, the queen size bed. I'm just going to double click this one and then click OK. Alright, I got the bed right there. Alright, so after home space planner, you could also go on, for example, house designer. You could click on the house designer and then click on blocks. You could also have the faucet. You've got a sink. You also got a toilet. You've got a bathtub right there. So you could just choose whichever blocks you're going to use. For example, I'm going to add like this one, the oval sink. Okay, and then I'm going to go on kitchen, go on blocks. Okay, I'm going to look for example, a double top sink. Okay, and then click on OK, and then I'm going to go for example, for the range or oven. I'm going to double click this one, then just go on insert. Okay, then for example, the top view for a refrigerator, I'm just going to double click this one and then click OK. Alright, okay, so mostly I've got the items needed for my furnitures and fixtures of the floor plan. Alright, so I'm going to place them at the proper place. Like I'm going to rotate this one. Okay, I'm going to move. For example, much I wanted to position the bed right here. Okay, maybe not. I'm going to go and rotate again. Okay. Then I'm going to reposition my bed here. Okay. Now all I gotta do is copy, for example, copy this bed, and then right there. Okay. Now we've got the oven. For example, I'm going to position my oven here. Okay, my kitchen sink, I'm going to position my kitchen sink here. Alright. For example, my refrigerator on the top view, I'm going to position my refrigerator here. Okay, so this oval, going to position this one here, oval sink, and then I'm going to position this dining table here. Alright, so that's it. Okay, so if you're going to observe the kitchen right here, the fixtures you have are more likely floating. Okay, so what you gotta do is we are going to establish the kitchen top. Okay, so offset of 0.60 or up to 0.70. So, but for me, I'm just going to go on offset 0.60. Then I'm going to drag it backwards and then extend this one, and then move this one a bit, and then just draw a line. Just draw a line, and then okay. Alright. Now, for example, I'm going to have an L type. So I'm going to go on offset. I'm going to go on 0.60 right there. Then I'm going to go on draw a line right there. Alright. Right there. So I established my kitchen. Okay. That's it. Alright. Now, take note that these are blocks. Alright, so if you're going to observe, these are blocks. One way or another, that these objects are being grouped together. Alright, so just if and only if, okay? Just if and only if you wanted to edit a block. Okay? So what you gotta do is you could simply just double click the block. Okay? And then you will be transferred on the window of editing a block. Okay. Then, for example, I'm going to erase this one because we are just only 5 the family. Oh, your client is maybe having just a 5, like 5 members of the family or something. So after editing the block, you could just simply close. So you will be asked save and save changes, set blocks. Okay, so that's how you're going to edit the block. Some, what they do is they go on exploding the block. Okay, so one disadvantage if you're going to explode the block is that the entities or the lines will be separated from the group. Okay, so you're gonna have a lot of lines. You're gonna have a lot of lines, and then you're going to reblock them again. So it's a little bit hassle for that part. So what you gotta do is, for example, you wanted to edit the block, and then still be on that block, or still having the same block. So my advice is that you may double click that one, or you just simply right click, and you could actually have reset the block, or block editor, or edit block in place. So the difference between block editor and edit block in place is that on the block editor you'll be directed to another window specifically for block editing. But right here, if you're just going to click edit block in place, okay, if you're going to observe, you're going to be still on the same window. You're still going to be the same on the same window, right? When everything else is being locked, and the only active here is the block that you wanted to edit. All right. So, but then if you wanted to exit from this if you're already done editing the block and you wanted to exit from this, is that all you gotta do is click on save changes. Okay, click on this icon right here, save changes. All right, then you're going to get back on the block. Okay, so that's how you're going to adapt a block. What about on the, for example, what about on the living area? Okay, for example, what about the living area? So more likely, I decided to have a cabinet here. So my cabinet is like 0.40. Okay, Okay, so I just would like to draw a representation of my cabinet. Alright, right there. Then I actually can manually draw I can actually manually draw the sofa or sofa set or sala set I wanted to, I wanted to put here. So for example, I wanted to draw a center table rectangle. For example, I'm going to go on 0.40 by 0.60. Now, rectangle, go on dimensions 0.40 and 0.60 right there. And I wanted to go on offset 0.025, just enough that it's going to be represented, like for example that this is a glass or something. Alright, so for example, I wanted to have a long type of a sofa for okay. For example, I'm going to draw like 0.60 right there, and then a 1.4 right there, and 0.60 again. Okay, then I'm going to have a division right there. Okay, now more likely, if and only if I wanted to like have a curve finish here at the corners. Okay, so I'm going to go on fillet, enter, then R for radius, and then for example I'm going to go on 0.05, click here and then click there, right there. Oops. Then I'm going to draw another line and fillet this part with this one. Okay, so what about the arm? Okay, what about the arm? So maybe I could just simply like draw a rectangle here, or draw a rectangle there, and then draw a rectangle here. Alright, and then extend that one right there. So it's like a more representation already of my sofa. But basically, what I wanted to do is, for me to save time, is you can actually download a lot of blocks in the internet. So for example, right here, I've got some blocks prepared already. I'm going to go on ebooks and then AutoCAD blocks, and then for example right here, no, that's not what I'm looking for. AutoCAD blocks, I've got furnitures. Okay, for example, I got furnitures here, but that's not the thing I'm looking for. Okay, so there are a lot of blocks I have already, stored in my computer, so maybe I'm just gonna be using this one for me to save time. But for the others who have not yet downloaded these blocks, you may find this one on Google. You go on Google and then Google. You go on Google and then try to find downloadable AutoCAD blocks. Alright, so for example, I'm going to like use this one. Okay. No. I much like better to use this one. Okay, so I'm going to go on Control C, and then I'm going to go on Control V here. And there is a lot of bigness right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rescale this one. I'm going to go Command SC. I'm going to go and highlight and Command SC, and then click right here, 0.001. Alright. Okay. So I'm going to erase this one, this manual drawing, and then I'm going to have it here. Okay, so that's my block. Alright, so that is how you are going to add furnitures on your building, or in your residential design, or on your design. That's how you're going to add up furnitures in your design. So what if I wanted to like provide fixtures? Okay, furnitures is different from fixtures. Okay, furnitures are things that can be moved. Okay, the fixtures is more likely from the term itself. It's fixed. It's fixed from the wall. It's fixed from the floor. It's fixed. It's fixed on some part of your structure. All right. So likewise, for example, of the fixture is we've got the toilet, we've got the sink, we've got the tiles. What else? basically those uh, those are those were some of those. Okay, so the next thing is we are going to add fixtures, like for example the tiles on the table on the top of this sink. I'm going to represent it with a hatch, edge, enter, and then you've got here a lot of patterns you could choose from. Alright, so for example I'm going to like choose this one, this pattern ANSI 37. So I'm just going to click this one, and then I'm going to click it on this area. Okay, now a simple reminder when you are going to use hatch is make sure that your area is closed. The area that you are going to pick from is closed. Alright, so what do we mean by closed? So for example, this part right here, that is closed. Okay, now that part right there, that is open. This is an open area. This is an open area. Okay, so if I am going to hatch this one, I'm going to click. Okay, so the hatch pattern is going to look for the boundary. Alright, they're going to look for the boundary, and it could cause, sometimes it could cause lagging on your computer. So make sure that before you are going to apply the hatch, a certain area where you wanted that hatch to be applied on, make sure that area is closed. Okay, so I've already provided the hatch right here, and then if you're going to observe the hatch, the scale of the hatch is pretty big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the scale, like for example 0.5. If you're going to observe, the size of the scale is already changed. So I'm going to 0.25, still big, so I'm going to go on 0.05, 0.025. Okay, for example, I'm already satisfied with that one, so I could change the angle like 45 degrees, so it's more likely representable already. Okay, so that is for the top of the kitchen sink. Now what if I wanted to hatch also the comfort room? So I'm going to command hatch, and then more likely I'm going to have the same pattern. Actually, you could also download a lot of patterns from the internet. More likely, so since that my computer is actually being reformatted, so I just have a limited hatch patterns here. So I might as well use what is available for now. So I'm going to use this one, and then enter, and then the same thing, you click. Now if and only if you wanted the same scale, the same positioning as this hatch, I'm going to go on MA, enter, click this one, and then click on the hatch pattern. Alright, then if you wanted to add a hatch pattern here, in between, so MA, enter, click, and then click on it. All you gotta do is MA. Alright, and then for example on the part of the bedrooms, you wanted like to have bit more details inside that bedroom, is you wanted to have a study table with a dimension of like 0.40 by for example it may be 1 meter. No, dimensions of 0.60 by 0.7. It's a bit of big table. It may be a drawing table or something. Okay, then you're going to go on offset in 0.025. Alright, so you might add up a lamp right here. For example, there's a lamp right there, and then for example you wanted to have a cabinet here. Alright, going to go and explode that one, and then I'm going to extend the cabinet here. Yeah. Okay, so you could have as much detail as you can. Okay, Now the next part is, for example, I'm already done. I'm already done with the furnitures. I'm already done with my fixtures. The next thing I'm going to do is go on layering the furnitures and fixtures. So Command LA, enter, and then go on add, and then go on floor plan dash furnitures and fixtures. Okay. Then go and enter, and then like you may have the colors changed, and then the line weight is like 0.25. Okay. Then go on layer that one. Okay. So you layer those. Go on MA. Okay. Go on MA. Okay. Go on MA. Much cropping those blocks. Okay. I did not include the hatch patterns. If you're going to observe, I did not include the hatch patterns because I wanted that these hatch patterns would have different line weights. Okay. So I'm going to command on LA, enter, then go on new layer, and then go on floor plan hatch patterns. Okay, and then have a color, have a different color, and then the line weight is 0.15. Okay, so go on home, and then go on hatch patterns, and then just go on MA. Okay, so if you're going to observe, the hatch pattern is a little bit lighter lines than those of the fixtures, okay, and the furniture, so it's not getting to, so that the display will not be a little bit crowded. All right. So we are already done with the how we are going to add furnitures and fixtures on our structure. The next part we're going to do is provide labels. Alright? So as of how we are going to provide labels on our structure. Okay, first things first is, for example, we are going to add labels on the different areas, because that's the easy part. Okay, that's the easy part. We're going to add labels on the different areas. For example, we go on T for text, enter. Click on one corner, and then like move the mouse slightly. It's going to just as much as going to represent a text box, and then click on the next opposite corner, and then voila, a text box is going to open for you. So for example, I'm going to go on caps lock bedroom. Okay, no worries, I understand that the text is a bit big, or it's very big. So what I'm going to do is going to go on highlight, and then first things first is, if you're going to observe the ribbon changed when we do the text, go on Arial, and then go on Stylus BT. Where's that? Okay, go on Stylus BT. Okay, and then change into like, okay, change the text height, for example 1. Where was that? It's gone. Wait. Then go on Stylus BT. Okay. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is going to scale, enter, click on one portion. Then for example, I'm going to go on 0.5. Are you satisfied? No? So if you're not satisfied, go on SC again, click, and then go on 0.5 again. if you're satisfied or not. Now, why am I showing you this one is that why I wanted to bring out that you can do the scale command even if it's in going to the text. So okay, the scale command does not just go with the objects that you have drawn, even on the text. So I'm going to go on SC again and then go on desired scale. So for example, if the text is a little bit still a little bit bigger, so I'm going to go just trying to have a proportion of the text. Then I'm going to go on. If you are satisfied already with the height of the text, okay. So I'm going to go on copy. Right there. I'm just going to double click this one, and then I'm going to go on master's bedroom. Alright, so I'm going to go and copy this one, CO, then double click, and then go on like kitchen. Okay, so I'm going to select the object and then go and copy. Alright, then I'm going to double click that one, I'm going to dining area. All you gotta do is drag forward and backwards this transforming box right here, so you could easily drag it forward or drag it backwards if you wanted to adjust the level of the text. Okay. Alright, so for example, I'm going to select the object and then I'm going to copy that one, and then I'm going to go on like living area. Okay. Then I'm going to go and copy, and then I'm going to go on porch. Now here's the thing. If I am going to add a text right here, okay, if I'm going to add a text right here, it's a little bit going to be a little bit crowded, or the text will not easily be identified because of the hatch patterns. So if you really wanted to have a text inside the inside this comfort room, okay, part of the structure, you may delete it first, the hatch, you may delete the hatch first, and then place the text first before you're going to do the hatch. Observe what happens. See? Okay, so the text is readable. Alright? Now, but in any case, I don't usually place a label on the part of the toilet and bath or on the part of the comfort room, because this object alone, or this this fixture alone, could really define of what this area is all about. You know, so I may not just provide a text right there. Alright. Now, here's the part where we are going to provide labels on our doors and windows. Okay. And then, so how we are going to provide labels of our doors and windows? Okay, first on the doors. So how you're going to provide labels on the doors? Take note. When you are going to provide labels on the doors and windows, make sure to it that each door that is going to have the same label must be the same in size. Must be the same in size. When I'm talking about the same in size, must be the same in height, in width, in length. All right, they must be in the same size. Okay, whichever size we're talking about, they must have the same size. All right, they must have the same size. The next one is they must have the same. They must have the same type. Okay? They must have the same type, they must have the same style. Alright? Because their doors might be the same in size, like 1 meter door, on the entrance, and then 1 meter door at the exit, but they may not have the same style, or they may not have the same type. For example, on the entrance you may have like a panel door, and then on the exit part you have a flush door. Okay, or you may have that is type, or on the part of the style, the entrance may be at the glass, maybe a glass type of a door. All right, and then on the exit, maybe a wooden door. All right, so they must have the same type and style. Okay, so that's the thing. They must have the same size, they must have the same type. So for example, I've got a door right here, so I'm going to label it as, like, for example, this is my door 1. Okay, now if this number right here is slightly cannot be like more identified, because it's like more of a L or more of a I, it's not basically looking as number 1, so you may change the text. For example, you may like go in the Roman, Times New Roman. Okay, that's it. Some, they are providing a dash in between the letters and a number. Okay, so you may, or you may have that one. For me, more likely, I'm not trying to provide a dash, but you may or you may not provide a dash. Okay, so that is my door 1. Then I wanted to add a little bit more detail on the text, so I wanted to have a circle on it or a square on it. But much more, very much common, is providing a circle on that part of the label. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to command T circle right there, and then click on the object here, and then go and enter. You will be prompted with an offset factor of 0.35. That is the default, the 0.35 right there. But I wanted that the circle is a little bit more closer on the text, so I wanted to have more like 0.15. And go and enter, and then it is a circle, and this is a variable, and then that's it. Okay, so you've got a door 1, or you may as well have this one. Okay, now on the exit part, so what I have been telling you a while ago, that this part right here is a panel door. They may be on the same size. This one right here is a 0.90 span of a door, and this one right here is also 0.90 span of a door, but they don't have the same type. So what I'm going to do here, this is going to be door 2. Alright, and then this one right here is going to be my door 3, because this is already on a different size. This is actually, the size of this door is actually 0.80 already. And then go on, this is my door 3, and this is going to be my door 4. Okay, alright, so the next thing we're going to do is to provide labels on the windows. So somehow we are going to provide labels on the windows. The same principle we are going to follow as how we have provided labels on the doors. So the windows must be of the same size, must be of the same style, must be of the same material. Okay? So for example, I am going to start more likely on the part in which I am very much sure of, is on the living area, on the part of the living area. Okay? So this one right here is a sliding window having a span of, this one right here is a sliding window having a span of like 1.2. Okay? Having a span of 1.2. So I'm going to label this one as window going to go on, this one is W. I'm going to go on, this is 1. This window 1. Then I'm just going to arrange it. Alright. Okay. Now if this window is with this, as much as the same of this window, so I'm going to go on copy, then go on 1. Now if this window is the same as much of this window, and this window, and this window right here, and this window right here. Now, here's the part. If you are going to observe the top view, the window here at the bedroom and the window here at the kitchen area is more likely the same. Okay, more likely the same type. They are sliding windows. Okay? But actually, they are not going to be having the same height of the window. Because if you're going to observe here on the master's bedroom, or on the bedrooms, or the rest of the area, the window more likely having a height of, you were planning to have a height of 1.2, right? But on the part of the kitchen, if you're going to observe, even at your houses, if you're going to observe the windows at your kitchen, it doesn't really start. It doesn't really start at the, you are going to measure, the measurement of the height of the window doesn't really start at the floor line. But on the part of the kitchen, your height of the window would start at the kitchen top. Okay? So, since they are not going to have the same height of the window, I'm going to label this one as window 2. Okay? Now, you may actually can adjust the circle right there. Alright? So, and this obviously on the part of the comfort room is pretty much obvious that it's not going to have the same type of a window, because I am planning that on the part, my plan is on the part of the comfort room, I'm going to have an owning window, or maybe a jalousie window. Okay, I'm not pretty much sure yet, so I'm just going to go on the window 3. Okay, so after having that one, the next part is this big window right here. So I'm pretty much sure that it's not going to be the same as that, like that of the other windows. So I'm going to label that one as the window 4. Okay, and then I can pretty much adjust the circle. Alright, so that's the thing. By the time that you're going to label the openings, like the windows and doors, make sure to it that those with the same labels must be the same in size, must be the same in type, must be the same in style, must be the same material being used. Okay? Why? The essential thing of that is by the time that we are going to to detail already on the part of the window and doors details, we are going to specify actually those information on that part. Okay? So make sure that by on the very first part, or the very early part, you are already going to anticipate. You are already going to think ahead. You are already going to anticipate if or which group these openings of how you are going to label, or how you are going to group these openings of your structure. All right. Take note that this is live, right? Take note that this is live and this is not a pre-recorded demonstration, okay? So, there is a really great possibility that I'm gonna be missing words. I'm missing out for words, okay? Because I've been like, it's been already like 47 minutes and I've already used much of the words already. And I'm really running low in vocabulary. Alright, so we go to the next part. So the next part is, of course, after providing the labels, do not forget the layers. Okay, so how we are going to provide the layers. Okay. So floor plan labels, we're going to go on type floor plan dash labels, and then of course choose a color. As what I've been trying to emphasize is that in your part of the drawing, you have to choose the dark colors. You're going to choose the dark colors. But on my part of the drawing is I'm going to use the light colors because this is for demonstration purposes. Alright? So our line weight would be like 0.09. Okay? Then close. So I'm going to go like choose one or pick one of the label. Then I'm going to place that object on the floor plan labels. Then I'm going to go on MA right there. Alright, then just going to go on going the same command. Okay, we're almost done. Alright, so after providing the labels, I hope I haven't forgotten something. After forgetting, oh, of course, I'm going to go on MA and then click on the, okay, so I've almost forgotten the labels of the, now we are going to provide dimensions. So how we are going to provide dimensions, okay, you have maybe on the early part you have a little bit observed this about this. You see this? You see that size of the dimension right there? Okay. I'm going to have another section of explaining as to why this happened, but on this part we are just going to go through as of how we are going to modify this one. Okay. So I'm going to go on D, enter, and then there are three options here that is already on the default. If what happens if I'm going to go on standard, I'm going to go click on standard and then set current and then close. Then I'm going to click on the dimension, linear dimension, or you can just simply type dim linear, but on my end I'm much more practical on clicking this one because dim linear is a little bit long command for me. So I'm just going to click this one and then I'm going to like click on one point up to the next point as of where you're going to end your dimensions. Or then if you're going to observe, the size have already changed. Okay, the size of the dimensions already changed. So you have used the standard mode. Okay, some when you're going to go on the dimension style manager, the options of the default here is only ISO -25 and annotative. Okay, if the standard is not present on your dialog box, what you're going to do is you click on annotative and then set annotative to current and then close. Okay, or you may just simply click, you may simply go on ISO -25 and then try to modify things up. Try to modify everything here. But for me, what I'm gonna do is I'm much more like comfortable in going to standard before I'm going to go on modifying the standards. So I'm going to go on D, okay, and the standard is already set current, and then I'm going to go on modify. Right? So after going to modify, so there's a modifying dimension style, modify dimension style here, title, and then we've got lines. Okay? So maybe I'm just going to leave the lines. I'm just going to leave like leave the extend beyond dimension lines. I'm just going to leave that one as is. I'm just going to leave that offset from origin as is. Alright, I'm just going to leave that base space. I'm just going to leave the lines as is, okay? So I'm going to go on symbols and arrows. So on the first arrow, on the arrowheads, if you're going to see it is being boxed. Okay, it is enclosed in the box, so it means to say that this portion here is one group, and this portion right here is another group, and this portion right here is another group. So what I'm going to modify is this first group. So the arrowheads, I'm just going to go and click on the arrow and then click architectural tick. If you're going to change the first arrowhead, automatically the second will change. But if you're going to change the second, the first will not be changed. Okay? So that's it. Okay. So like my arrow size, I'm going to like go on the as is. It's 0.18 millimeters. So I'm just going to leave it as is, and then I'm going to go on text. Okay, on this text appearance right here. Then I'm going to go on standards. If you are going to see, if you're going to observe dots, if you can see dots right here at an icon, it means to say when you click that one, another dialog box is going to appear. It means to say more options, okay, more choices to modify. So the font name, I'm going to go on Stylus BT, okay, just to be uniform on my text style on the outside. So I'm going to go on Stylus BT and then apply, and then close. Alright, and then I'm just going to leave the text height as 0.18 because my arrowhead is like the size of 0.18 also. But some, they are going to change that one at 0.20. So you may change that one into 0.20 or something, but not more than 0.20. Alright. Okay, so on the text alignment, I'm going to go on aligned with dimension line. Okay, so I'm going to go on okay. No, not yet. I'm going to go on align with dimension line, and then I'm going to go on the fit. So I'm just going to leave that fit as is. So I'm going to go on directly. I'm going to jump off to the primary units. So in the primary units, of course, I'm going to use decimal because we are on a metric part. We are playing on a metric. So and then the fraction or the precision is I'm going to go on the 2 decimal places. Okay. So having done that, I'm going to go on OK. Alright, and then I'm going to go on close. So if you're going to observe, your dimension would look like this. Okay. Now I'm going to go and click on that dimension, and then I'm going to go on dimensioning what I need to go. So as of how you're going to execute the dimensions, you click on the first point and then click on the second point where you are going to stop the stop the measure. Okay, and then I'm not going to click here anymore. I'm just going to go on press enter or the space bar, and then click on the first point, and then click on the second point where I wanted my dimension is for the start of my dimension and my end with my dimension. So the next part is I'm going to go press enter, and then I'm going to click on the first point, and then click on the second point, and then click on the first point, and then click on the second point. Okay? Now, if you're going to observe here, right here, these dimensions below and dimensions at the top are the same. So, I could just simply erase that one. So, on this portion also, I could just simply erase that one. Now, when you are going to apply dimension, make sure that you are going to dimension from wall to wall. Alright? You are not going to dimension the openings of the wall. You are just going from wall to wall. Okay? For example, right here. I am not going to have it this way. Okay? So, the span of wall here is from this part going to this part. So if you are going to observe, I did not erase my schematic because my point here is that when I do apply my dimensions, I want it to be on center. Okay, from center to center. Okay, so I have my schematic. I did not erase my schematic. I did not turn off my schematic because my schematic would be my basis for my dimensions. Okay? Now, what about here? This part right here. Okay? So on the part right here, you have from this wall going to this wall. So you lack dimension from this part going to this part. Right there. Then I'm going to adjust it on the top. Okay. So more likely, as much as possible, or as much as possible, I don't want to have dimensions. I don't want to have dimensions here at the front part because it is where I am going to provide my title. But if and only if it cannot be, it cannot be, avoided. So you may. It is not, what you call this? It is not a crime. All right. And then I'm going to have from this part going to this part. Okay. That's it. Okay. So, what about this part right here? The first question is, are there any partitions here? If being none, so I'm just going to have from this point all through this point. Alright? Right there. Okay? If there are no partitions. Now, you may have it here. Okay? Now, we lack dimension on this part. Ayan. Now, if you're going to observe that the porch is just an extension of your major structure, so your major structure is like 7.5 by 8, and you have an extension of 1.5. Then you may or may not have an overall dimension there. But if you wanted to provide an overall dimension there, then you may. Okay? Now, after providing dimensions, the next part we're going to do is, again, we are going to layer the dimensions. If and only if we haven't forgotten something to dimension with. So, I'm going to go LA, and then go New, and then floor plan dash dimensions. It's easy as that. Then, I'm going to go on colors. And for example, I'm going to go on yellow. And then, my line weight would be like 0, 0. And then exit. And then choose 1, for example. And then go on schedule that one on the floor plan dimensions. And then go on MA, enter. And then click. And then just simply highlight the rest of the dimensions. Okay? So, the next part is that after providing dimensions, we've already provided the labels. The next part we're going to do is the cutting plane line. Okay, the cutting plane line. Now, actually, you could use the cutting plane line right here on the part of the tool palette, but for me, I'm much more comfortable on making my own cutting plane line. But on this part, I am really going to make my own cutting plane line in order for me to really demonstrate as of how we could. There are certain commands that could be used on this procedure. There are additional commands to be shown on this procedure. So what I'm gonna do is make sure to it. So how you're going to do the cutting plane line? Make sure to it that your cutting plane line shows. Your cutting plane line would show the complicated part of the structure. All right. Okay. For example, so you've got two cutting plane lines. First is the cutting plane line across. Okay. Right there. Okay. Cross section. Okay. So, one part should be showing the comfort room. Okay. Then I'm trying to arrange my cutting plane line, and make sure to it that as much as possible my cutting plane line does not passes through a certain label or a certain text that may cause confusion in the future. Okay? That's it. Part right there. Okay? Then I'm going to go online right here. So I'm just using the line. And then I'm going to use this. Then I'm going to have like A for my section AA. Now for the grade 12, I know you have already discussed about the cutting plane line, right? So I think this is just going to be a review. But in which case, okay, I'm just on this part I'm trying to draw a cutting plane line manually. Then we've got a arrowhead, and then go MI, and then yan. Okay, and then go on hatch, and then pick the solid part, and then hatch this one. And okay. Okay, first things first, I'm just going to, because we have another line weight for that one. Okay, now copy and bring it on the other side. Okay, now the thing here is the usual mistake on the cutting plane line, on adding cutting plane line, is that their cutting plane line really extended on this portion here. I don't know why. Okay, that you have to extend that cutting plane line all the way here. I am not very much sure why you're doing that. Okay? So you may just have the cutting plane line as much as this one. Okay? Now, the next part is this is the longitudinal section. Then the next part is the cross section. Excuse. The next part is the cross section. So, on the cross section, what I wanted to emphasize is which part? So, I would like my decision is I'm going to emphasize this part here. Yeah. Okay. Now, as of where the arrow points, as of where the arrowhead is pointing, it is the part of the structure you are going to choose. You are going to show, not choose. The part that you are going to show. All right. So, I'm going to, like, for example, I'm going to copy this one and then erase that one first, and then I'm going to go and rotate. Okay, I'm going to go and move. Okay, that's it. But it is intersecting, so I think I have to move this one a little bit more at the top. Okay, then I'm going to go and extend. Then copy. And I'm just going to go and move right there. Okay. Then I'm just going to copy the text. Then I'm going to go on B. And then copy. Okay. Now, there is a possibility that you can apply an offset type of a cutting plane line. Okay, for example, your cutting plane line passes through like here, then ends at here, and then it goes here, and then it goes right there. Right there. Okay, so it can also be done. If you wanted to have an offset type, of a cutting plane line, where you wanted to show this part of the bedroom, and then you wanted to show this part of the comfort room, and then you wanted to show this part of the kitchen. Okay, you may have that one. All right. Now, since you are on the two-story building, okay, you are a two-story residential building, I may suggest that you are going uh, to strategize. You are really going to strategize your cutting plane line because as much as possible, what is can being seen what is the position of the cutting plane line on your ground floor would have the same positioning of the cutting plane line on the second floor. All right. There may be a tendency that the cutting plane line on the ground floor shows complexity, but in the part of the second floor, it shows only a wall. It shows only a dead, you know, dead a dead portion of a view. All right. So you have to strategize the positioning of your cutting plane line. Okay. So on one consideration, if we are going to strategize the position of a cutting plane line, is that one of those cutting plane lines, if you're going to observe, we've got two cutting plane lines. We've got the longitudinal and we've got the cross section. One of those cutting plane lines must be showing the stairs. Okay, must be showing the stairs. So that is one of the second is it must be showing the comfort room. Okay. Next part consideration is it must be showing the kitchen. All right. You know why? Because the thing here is you've got fixtures in the part of the kitchen, right? You've got fixtures in the part of the kitchen. And take note that you are already going to provide more likely a major idea as to what would be the form of your kitchen. So, in a sense, actually, in a plan, especially if the client does not really need, does not require you to have a, what you call this, an interior design. More likely the kitchen part or the comfort room type is could already show the kitchen part or the comfort room part could already show the major idea as of how these two areas of the house look like, even including the level of your kitchen top, or the level of your, like, including the level of your sink, or if there may be the level of hanging cabinets in there. All right, because by the time that we are going to draw the section, you are going to draw that fixtures. It may not be true in a sense that it may or may not be followed during the construction, but one way or another, it's going to provide an idea. It's to provide an idea already of the client that on that part of the wall or on that part of the area of the building will have these possible fixtures. Okay? So that is why, as much as possible, an area on the comfort room must be shown as a section, an area of the kitchen must be shown as a section, an area of the stairs must be shown as a section. Alright, so those are the things that you have to consider when you are going to strategize your section. Okay? Now, the next part I'm going to do is I have already my cutting plane line. So, the next part is, I guess I'm going to layer this one. No, not guess, but really, to layer this one. So, floor plan, cutting plane line. Why so a lot of layers, sir? Why so a lot of layers? Basically, you've got really a lot of layers because you are trying to practice so how you are going to, like, have a an arrangement of your drawings. Okay, how you are going to group your drawings. Okay, but if you are going to be on an advanced mode already, you are not going to do the naming of the layers, but some are using already, maybe on my part. Okay, fine. On my part, I am already using the what you call this, uh, the instead of layer names, I am already using the line weights. So I am naming line weights already. Likewise, for example, my layers is on 0.2, on 0.5, on 0.25, or 0.09. That is my layer names. Because I already understand as of how my drawing goes. But on the part of the, we are still trying to begin on how we are going to manage our drawings. I really suggest that you are going to apply specific layers. Okay? Now, on the part of cutting plane line, I think we have to add something. So, we are going to go on the properties toolbar right here on the ribbon. Go on the layer types. This is a layer type, okay? Or you may simply command L type. Okay? So, line type manager is going to appear and then go on load. And then you look for a phantom line. Okay? Look for a phantom line. Okay? I guess this is, I'm going to use the phantom one. Okay, I'm going to go click OK and then click OK. Now, then I'm going to click my cutting plane line and then I'm going to go on phantom. I think I haven't changed my layer yet on the cutting plane line. Wait. Okay, so I'm going to change the color. I want it to be a bit bold color. Then my line weight would be like 0.30. I am checking because I wanted for us to be uniform. So in uniform, so I want it to be 0.30. Okay. Now, I intentionally have this one, but on the part of the, when you have already scheduled the line, for example, this line right here, you pick the line and then you click on the phantom line and it seems to have not changed. It seems to have not changed. So, what are you going to do? So, the thing here is you're going to go on properties, so command PR, and then click on the line. Okay? And then you observe the line type scale here. You may go on like, change the scale of the line, for example, 0.5. And no change. 0.25. 0.15. If you are going to observe, there is a slight change already when you go on 0.15. Okay? If you are you satisfied? No? If you're not satisfied, okay, you go on 0.1. Now, if you are on my part, I wanted to have a little bit more of that small dashes. I wanted to have more of that small dashes. So, for example, 0.05. Maybe that's it. So, MA. I'm just going to have MA on this one. Okay. Then I'm going to close this one. So, and then I'm going to layer this one on the cutting plane line. Where was that? Cutting plane line? Okay. So MA. Going to change. Okay. So that's a cutting plane line right there. Alright. Then go on Control S. Always go on Control S. Alright? Always go on Control S. Okay. Now after that one, the next we are going to do after the cutting plane line is we are going to go on column balloons. Okay, so how we are going to do the column balloons? So L, I'm going to go on L and then go make a line right here and then extend that line. Alright. Okay. Now, the intention of column balloons is we are trying to locate the positions of our columns. It's like a graph. It's like a graph. If you are going to observe, there is a, before you are going to do the construction, you do the, what you call this? The layout. Yeah, you do the layout on the field. Okay, the staking. You do the layout of the field. Actually, during the staking, it is more likely the same principle as that we have this on this drawing. The only differ that on the stake on the stake layout, and staking out, they do it in the field. But on the part of the drawing here, we call it the column balloons. Okay, so copy. Oh, no. Then copy this one right here, and then, for example, I'm going to go on A. So I'm going to go on letters. A. Then I'm going to have a tiny detail here, so I'm going to have a small circle here, right that. Okay. Okay. Then I'm going to copy this one. That's it. Okay, then I'm going to have this one as B. Then I'm going to have this one as C. Alright. And then I'm going to have this one as on across longitudinal. So I'm just going to copy this one. Alright, and then I'm going to copy this small circle right here. Okay, so I'm going to have this as 1. Take note that if I'm going to copy this one, okay, to have it a little bit more of a 1 than that of an L or an I. So I'm going to copy this one. Okay. Alright. So I'm going to have it as 2. I'm going to have it as 3. I'm going to have it as 4. Okay, so that is my column balloons. And after that one, I'm going to layer that one on my floor dash column balloons. Okay, and then go on colors. I wanted to have the same color as all of the dimensions, and then where's that? And then the line weight would have the same as of that dimensions. And then I'm just going to go on clicking that one, and then column balloons, and then go on MA. Alright. Okay, now you have the column balloons. Now, the possible questions we are going to have when we are going to provide column balloons is that what if there are columns which are very much closer to one another? For example, right here. And it just so happen you've got an interesting column right over there. For example, dimensions of 0.15 by 0.35. Okay. What about this one? What about this type of column right here? What about this type of column right here? You have a column right here and you've got a column right there. Okay. So by the time that you're going to provide the column balloons, okay, and then you have a column balloon here. Okay. So by the time you copy this one, alright, there would be intersection. This is the possible problem we have. So you could actually move that one right there. You could actually move that one, and then draw a line. Here it is. You draw a line, okay, like projecting an angle using the angle sign, like shift less than. I think it's less than, or shift comma or something. Okay. And then 45, right? 45 degrees. Okay. You observe that one. Okay. So draw a line here, right there, and then maybe you could just like move. But make sure that the F8 is on. Okay, draw a line. There, okay. swim. Okay. If and only if, just simply move. Okay. Okay. So that's it. So this one right here is the 2. Okay, so that is one possible solution you could have. Or you could just simply, if and only if the line is free and it does not intersect, you could just simply go right there. Okay? But if it is much too close, alright, but if it is much too close, because there is a tendency that this line right here might be intersecting this line right there. So, you may use this procedure. Okay? The important thing here is that this one right here would provide an idea, that would provide an idea to the, when you are going to do the stakeout already on the field, that there must be a line right there, because there is a column that there is a column that would be, it would hit a certain column. There should be a nylon line there because it's going to hit a certain column. Okay? So that's the thing. Alright? What else? The possible okay, for example, you've got this one. You have a, take note that the column balloons is for columns. I didn't say wall balloons. Okay, for example, on the part of the firewall, your column balloons are projected here. Alright? And so happen that your dimensions are projected here. It's just the way it is. No, it's just the way it is. Alright? Now, so those were common concerns when we are going to do the column balloons. Those were common concerns. Okay? So the next part is, after having that column balloons, the next part is providing the title. Okay, so go on text. We can just simply copy this one. Then, for example, floor plan. But on your part, you're going to have a ground floor plan, and you have a ground floor plan, and you've got a second floor plan. But for me, I'm just going to have a floor plan, and then I'm going to scale that one by, for example, 2. No, 3. Yan. Okay, so it's a little bit big. Then I'm going to draw a line here, and then I'm going to copy this size of the text again, and then I'm going to go on double clicking this one, and then go on scale 1:100 right there. Okay, and then you may add up a little bit more of a detail, like for example drawing a circle right there. Okay, there is actually an intention as of why you draw this figure here, but on the part that we have already a template, we have already a title block. Much of the information is actually written on the title block, but if you are doing solo drawings, you can actually use this one. But for me, I'm just going to have it there because it provides a little bit more of a detail on my title. And then I'm just going to change the line weight as much as this is going to be 0, 0 in order for it not to be a bit on distractive. Okay, so that's it. So we have a complete floor plan. Alright, so for now I am going to like take a break for a little bit, and then I'll be back at 1 p.m. And of course, at the 1 p.m. I'm going to be discussing the module about the grade 12 module, uh, like as of why it is being partnered as much as how you have received that one that way. So make sure that you are going to tune in. All right, grade 12. Be back at 1 o'clock. Okay.